Hi. Hello. Long time no see. Happy holidays for the US folk. We just had Thanksgiving. I'm sure you've seen all the lovely Black Friday and Cyber Monday things. And I wonder, my mother's calling me right now. I wonder, I wonder.
And I have like a fire alarm.
Did it sound like it? It's because my computer rang and my phone rang at the same time. It was my mom. Who are you spending time with? Okay, so the original question was, what are you saying yes to? What are you saying?
I
yes
have a fire alarm to leave the building.
Oh,
but I don't know if it's like,
is this an emergency? Did someone pull the alarm? Oh my God.
Let me turn the radio sign off. Maybe now you can hear it.
Do not use the elevator. Use the stairway only.
Wow, something's on fire.
So I don't know what to do.
Are you supposed to leave? Is this my mom called right when we went live and the fire alarm went on right when you went live? Is the universe like, what is the universe telling us? What is the universe telling you all?
I'll turn off this so that you don't have to hear it. No, it's
God.
probably in the background a little bit more. I'll sit here for a little while until my spleen tells me to go. And I think this is what we're going to speak about a little bit as well, because we had Thanksgiving for the US with a lot of family and a lot of expectations often, and maybe traveling, and then Black Friday, and how, you know, our mind kind of says, use this these discounts to actually buy now and not later. And I feel like, yeah, how do we listen to
FOMO? Yeah, what's influencing you? Because that's the fear of missing out that everybody capitalizes on. It's like you're in the store and you're walking by and you're like, oh, I want that because it's there and it's physical and you can take it home right now. Me and my aunt were in Costco and I was like, these leggings are so soft. I like them. And she bought them for me. And I thought she was going to give them to me for Christmas. And then we get to the car and she's like, here, you like them. You can have them now. I was like, but isn't this for Christmas? I don't need it right now. And she's like, don't you want it right now? I was like, no, not really. I mean, I can wait. But I feel like the majority of people, like they can't wait. We get so impatient and excited for that next like dopamine hit of the feel good, you know, like with food and gorging ourselves on Thanksgiving, you know, or in mealtime or whatever, or the holidays and the sweets. It's like when you're saying yes to things, why are you saying yes to it? And is it right for your body? Is it right for your strategy and your authority? And I think that we tend to splurge a lot during the holiday season, especially, I mean, in the US, I can't speak for other countries, but there just seems to be a lot more yeses during the holiday. Oh, it's and that. It's like there's more excuses to just say yes all the time. And is that always good?
Yeah, because, you know, for the mind, it might be a no-brainer. Oh, of course you should buy when it's 50% off. Or of course you should go and spend time with family when everybody's doing it for Thanksgiving or for Christmas. So yeah, it's like that thing, you know, how culture or how even just our own logic is telling us. But that's the whole thing we see with human design. Like no decisions are supposed to be made from the head. And even with Gene Keys, it's supposed your heart is the compass. So when we come back to the heart and the body as compass, where are you led? And we could say at least, you know, 50% of the population, or well, maybe 30. Well, if you have a splenic authority and you have a sacral authority, or you have both spleen and sacral defined, it's definitely in the moment. And often in molecular design, we speak about, you know, referring to life as you would refer to food. So if we would put 5 plates in front of you with different things on them, you would naturally know, like, I want to eat this. And there is not so much emotional because you have an open emotional, so you kind of know in the now, I want to eat this, I want to go here. And you're going to feel, when you're going to start to feel your heart, your body towards things, that's when you know it's right. Not when your mind is telling you that you should do that because it's logical or it's expected. That's what's going to end up draining your energy and frustration at the end of the day. So I feel that, especially like you were saying, Ashley, when there are like sales going on, or when it's Christmas and those holidays when you're expected to do something, saying no, it's where we say yes, and we are overriding a lot of that inner authority and inner compass. And that's probably detrimental both for us and the people around us.
Yeah, you really, I mean, Raw drove this home for so many years of his teaching is like, follow your strategy and authority, follow your strategy and authority. And like, when you're looking at your authority, and like Bella was saying with the emotional, it's like emotional eating based on how you're feeling. Like, oh, I don't feel good, so let me eat something that makes me feel good. Or, oh, I want to, I want to buy this. And it's like this impulse, and then that's where the buyer's remorse comes in. And then the people that are sacral authority, and it's like the pull, the guidance, the compass that comes from that sacral response, that gut. And then people that are splenic, and it's like, do you know in the now, what is it telling you in the now? And even with like Black Friday, we were just talking about it. It's like, what would the response of the splenic authorities be with all these Black Friday, like in-person sales? How do you think they would react or respond?
I mean, I feel like if you are a splenic authority and have open emotional, open sacral, especially open sacral, do you want to be around all these people, those crazy generators and manifesting generator, just like going and trying to get the thing, like
maybe people without the defined sacral, they're like, yeah, I love people because it gives me energy. And then they go home and they're beat because they're out of the crowd, and they're like, look, I'm already getting hot just thinking about it. They're already like, oh, I need to relax. The same way with being with family. It's a lot that is going into our openness. And then we come back into our aloneness, and we kind of feel drained because we go into patterns that we've always done in childhood. I know I spent some time with my family, and I got home and my asthma started kicking up, and I started to have respiratory stuff. And I was like, man, and my brother was there, who's never at any gatherings because he's been saying no. He's not the yes, he's the no. I'm working on myself, and he has really bad anxiety now because of the stuff he's processing from his childhood. And he's like, I can't be around the expectations of my family because I don't feel strong and secure in myself. And if you don't feel strong and secure in yourself, then you don't compromise and put yourself into a situation where you're under the pressure and influence to other people, because it's just going to be detrimental to you. So it's okay to say no if it's going to be, if it's not going to be life-giving, if you know that you can't stand up and for yourself amidst other people who have, like, who you've given your power to in the past.
Yeah, and maybe just a few words here about emotional authority, because it takes time to have emotional clarity. So especially when there are things that need to happen fast, it's very much against emotional authority. And I've been thinking about that lately with Richard Rudd, who speaks about the pauses. I think that he's really in that way supporting everyone, because 50% are emotional authority and 50% are open emotional, but we are very impacted by whatever is going on with people with defined emotional, because that's what we take in and possibly also amplify. So really, to be able to pause, even to pause before you do what the habitual thing that you do every Christmas, like maybe if you really feel into your heart, into your body, into your inner knowing, you might want to go to the Canary Islands and just not celebrate Christmas at all. And I think that that's really, as we are starting to decondition, it's not that we don't care about others, but it really comes to a point where we know when we are embodied, when we are in sovereignty, in stability, when we are our true self, that's actually how we can impact the world in the way that we are supposed to, like in a positive way. And even our family, maybe in the beginning when they are kind of attached and holding on to something, but we're actually giving them the opportunity to also deal with that thing that we're not doing what they're going to expect. And then they have to look inside at themselves with their own triggers. And I think, that's allowing everybody to evolve and to take more responsibility for our own well-being. You're muted, Ashley.
Oh, and I was going to say, sometimes when we have the awareness, we'll put ourselves into situations where we know it will be a challenge because we want to push through that edge. We want to unravel so we can see, because it's not enough to make your life so comfy, cozy, and like protect yourself from life bringing you the things that you need to actually heal. So we can't say no all the time. Sometimes we have to say yes, even if there's unease, even if there's friction, even if there's anxiety. Sometimes we say yes because we trust ourselves enough to enter into that storm because we know it's worth it on the other side of it. and we do that with family, we do that with relationships, because when we have the awareness and we have the tools, we know that we're going to come out on the other side and we're going to be okay because we trust ourselves. And I think it is about arriving at love and trust and truth, and knowing that when we unravel together or alone, we get to get raw, get naked, get real, and then move forward in a new way, in a different way, because we're putting ourselves into situations so that we can be different, act different, evolve through it. And I think that is courageous.
And that internal, like the inner authority, like we say, it's the inner compass. And I feel like that's also what we are wanting to provide with Inner Circle and other initiatives that we do with Unlock Your Design. Like when you start to function from that inner authority, from that place of inner grounding, maybe in your family and the people that you usually interact with, there can be some reactions and they can wonder what's happening. So that's why it's very valuable to have a place where people are actually wanting you to show up as your true self, as who you truly are, and especially using your life energy in the way that it wants to move. So that's why we have those initiatives with like the creative spark and the embodiment calls, and how much can we come into the body, how much can we come into the correct circulation of our life force, and then when we get out of these calls, how do we feel? Because that's the thing then that should be the reason for coming back. And maybe sometimes, like you're saying, we don't feel great, but it's allowing us to look at something that if we wouldn't have been there, that wouldn't have come up. And then, so for me, I feel it's important to actually have people that can understand who we are. They don't necessarily need to know our profile, our human design, our gene keys, but it does definitely help. Like even I was laughing before we went live here when I was saying, like, I felt like something we had done business-wise didn't really work. And instead of kind of staying with that and trying to make it work, I could see that my preference was 100% to go to the future and see how we can move forward, like what to focus on. And that's very much when I look at my purpose, the 7th gene key, and I have the 31, like I'm very logical, forward oriented, very visionary. So if something doesn't work, like that's where I go. And actually knowing that she can be like, okay, that's Bella's mechanics. That doesn't mean that that's necessarily right. It's just that that's her focus. And with Ashley, with her 42, I'm going to know that, yeah, okay, she really wants to end something because she starts something new. So I don't have to interpret that she doesn't want to start new things and she's resistant. No, it's just that that's her mechanics. So when we know a little bit more what the person, the kind of that blueprint, we can actually support each other, and we don't judge, like we don't interpret and judge things that actually aren't even true.
Mm-hmm. It's just about values. It's about your foundation. It's about your roots. It's about what you're grounded in. It's about what you think is important in your life and what has given you the satisfying feedback. You're like, oh yeah, this feels good. Look, oh, it feels good to complete. Oh, it feels good to plan. Oh, it feels good. Like, what feels good for you. And just like Black Friday and like the holidays and food, it's like, we're actually like, we're humans and we're wanting to feel good. Amidst the suffering that we face, we want to feel good. And that's why video games are so rampant. That's why addictions are so rampant, because we actually just really want to feel good. We just want to be happy. And is it so wrong to want to feel happy and to feel good? And I think that, like we mentioned with the Inner Circle, we want to give you the tools so that your feel good, so that your come from is like an internal thing, and it can't be manipulated with externally. It's like, oh, I lose my house, and my house was my root and my foundation. You're going to start to realize what your anchor points are when they start to be pulled at, and there's risks involved, like money, house, relationship, like that whole Maslow's hierarchy, the bottom. We tend to root ourselves into that, and we're not rooted in ourselves. And so look at your roots. And I feel like with the Inner Circle, we're talking about this because that was our Black Friday deal, is come into the Inner Circle and get a bunch of like those foundation bonuses. And I know a lot of you are brand new to all of this. So, I mean, we talk about the centers, we talk about strategy and authority in the courses that we're offering for free. And we talk about the activation sequence and gene keys. So there's foundations of gene keys, foundations of human design. And then in the Inner Circle, there's that alive energy in the space to really help you anchor into yourself, your core stability, your sovereignty, your independence, and so that you can show up in the world without those anchor points, so that it doesn't matter what life throws at you. You're like, you rebound super, super well. You know, you become more and more resilient. And
you listen to the body again, like we started this live and it was saying, leave the building, there is an emergency and all that. And I could feel into like, it could have been an emergency, but then it was subsided and didn't say anything. So when we're grounded in our body and connected to our intuition, and that's happened like 2 times today, like usually I don't get a lot of calls on a Saturday. And twice today, I thought about somebody and like 5 seconds later, that person calls my phone. So when we are in, like when we feel home in our body and we start to actually honoring the body and what it's communicating with us, like that relationship is like the most beautiful love story, and it's going to help you. Like the body never lies. And if you make it your ally, and if you tune into your heart, your inner authority, your body, like that's the best. There's nothing on the outside that's better than that. First, that anchoring on the inside. And I feel like that's what we want to, role model, what we want to start to taste, what we want to come closer to as we become ourselves. There's so much inside of you already. Just you want to connect back into it.
Yeah. I mean, Bella always speaks about the intelligence of the body. And it's like, when it's about the soul too, and the soul truth is like, how much can you bring that in the body? How much can you merge spirit and soul inside this vessel, inside this body? How much can you inhabit yourself? We're huge, expansive beings fitting into this tiny little body. And it's like, when you're, I don't know, and we have huge egos. The ego takes up so much freaking space. I'm gonna tell you that. And it can be an ally too, but it's not the compass. It's not the GPS. It's just a tool, an indicator. It's like you're getting data from it. You're getting data from these points, but really it's your truth. It's your soul. It's your spark. It's like the God within you that's in charge, and the God externally, like of all that is, not just our sovereign creator God. It's like God of all that is. Like every step you make, every action, every word you speak, you're creating in this world. What you speak, you create. And that throat center, I'm telling you, it's the manifestation, metamorphosis center. It's like you move a certain way, and it's a code, it's a geometry. You say a certain word and it's a code, and it's a geometry, it's a transmission. And like, we're art, we're like living art. And it's like, how are you feeling after you're walking in the world? Like, how do you wake up? How do you set yourself up for success? What do you say yes to? What do you say no to? Because all of those individual actions just compound into the day. And are you going to bed satisfied, if you're sacral authority, satisfied or frustrated? Are you going to bed peaceful or angry? Are you going to bed surprised? Or disappointed? Or are you going to bed feeling successful? Or are you feeling bitter? And bitter kind of happens over time, but like, how are you ending your day?
We all of us have some reason every day to be resentful. And especially if you're a projector, that's accentuated and it piles up. And that's how you are not going to be able to feel successful, because there's going to be, again, that thing that's piled up. So definitely go back to those key signatures of your aura type. It's very important. So if you're a generator, like Ashley said, satisfaction. If you are a manifester, peace. If you are a manifesting generator, you both have peace and satisfaction. If you are a projector, you want to feel successful. If you are a reflector, you want to feel surprised in a beautiful way about life. Like you are kind of, walking through life in like a unicorn.
Yeah. We're all unicorns, okay? Or dragons, whatever you want to be. Unicorn, dragon, fairy, whatever mythical being you are, everybody's differentiated. You can call yourself a human being, but you're so much more than that. So much more. It's amazing that you're here breathing. And I think that in this season where there's so much stimulation and like, buy this, do this, and like we're guilty of, it's like, hey, join the inner circle. It's like, what are you grateful for? Are you grateful that you're breathing in and you're breathing out today? Like, what is it that you're grateful for? What is it that needs to leave your life? Because we're here to let go of things too. To
And
make room,
actually,
to
it's almost too late. I was going to say, but if we look at the wheel, and like Ashley said, we're walking the wheel every Monday, and we're going to do Jinky 9 on Monday. And we have been in Scorpio energy for a long time now, for a month. And we have had the nodes and the eclipses in Taurus and Scorpio. So a lot of that was to, okay, what do you value? How can you simplify so you can let go of what you don't need anymore? Now we're actually in a very expansive time. We are in Sagittarius energy, optimism, and like expansion, and also the codon ring of light. It's about in these, like actually these tiny vessels, but they can hold so much, and they're not here to be dense and dark. They're actually here to crack through with more light, with more transparency. So with the codon ring of light, with Jinky 5, 26, 9, and 11, that's really what wants to happen. And I remember every year, actually, I feel like we get kind of a surge of energy when we're in the codon ring of light.
yes.
We like create things and we plan the next year. So what is it that you need this month in Sagittarius for? And then it's probably going to come into form a little bit more into plan when we go into Capricorn. So the next 2 months is a really good foundation to kind of be visionary and like really expand the ideas of it for this next month, and then bring it into form, the things that are there. And with your strategy and authority, you kind of feel into, okay, yeah, this still feels good. And then you start to plan it, and then you can start next year. So that's kind of the invitation. And if you come into the inner circle, I think that that's going to be part also what we can do together there. But this is something for all of us, the collective energy of Sagittarius and Capricorn in the coming months.
Yeah. I feel like someone's here that's going to join the inner circle. I feel all like I'm going to meet a new person. I'm super excited about Spark of Creativity on Wednesday. Bella was talking about the body a lot today. She's doing the embodiment calls with Unlock Your Genius on Tuesdays. So mine's on Wednesday, hers is on Tuesday. I just can feel like so much energy, like you were saying, with the codon ring of light, us being in Sagittarius, going into Capricorn. There's so much energy supporting us. And I'm like, ooh, what are we going to create? And I think that's what gets me super excited, is like hearing that question, asking that to you all. I want to know what people are creating and putting out into the world, because like, this is our legacy. Like, you may die, the body may die. What are you leaving here? Like, Richard Rudd is leaving something. Ra Uru is leaving something. All the astrologers that came before us are leaving something. And it's like, what are people going to be able to interact with after you're gone? And
also, actually, I feel another thing that comes in for me, like all last year, we had the square between Saturn and Uranus, the old and the new, and it was like, and it like also this year it almost was there again, and it was the last time. Now it's separating. So whatever was the thing with the old and the new that maybe was pulling you before, now Uranus always wins. So that going into Aquarius, going into the future, like we are not so held back by the old anymore. And even the thing with the pandemic, like even things with regulations, like, can you feel right now that there's more openness? We have Jupiter going direct this week, already has into Aries, a whole new part, the first sign of the wheel. Like, there is so much expansion possible after this tug back and forth of the old and the new that we've had for more than a year now. So really also allow that energy to come into you, because I feel like that's what you and I are tapping into right here, Ashley.
I feel it. I just want to get up and like wiggle. I feel the cusp. I feel the shift. I feel like, oh, I do, like, yes, something does need to die. I want to let go of something, get your wiggles out or whatever. And it's like, just be transformed and walk forward. I think like, wasn't Pluto in Capricorn for a really long time, and now it's getting out of Capricorn, it's going to go into Aquarius. It's like, like all of that. I just feel like so much stuff is lifting, like you were saying, like just tuning into that, it feels lighter. I feel like we just need to remind ourselves that.
And we still have Pluto specifically in Capricorn for a while, because it's still sitting there on the cusp to Aquarius. But like, that's the thing, there are things that are going to take a little bit of time, and Pluto is very, very, in a way, transpersonal. So what I feel now, like what we are saying, it's a lot of that Jupiter energy right now. And I think that all this time, while we still have Pluto in Capricorn, I think that it's about tuning into the other transits. And that's what I feel like we're doing with Unlock Your Design is, we're following the sun, but we're also looking at Jupiter. And if you were like just in Human Design or in Gene Keys, I don't think that you would really think about Jupiter right now, but that's huge. It's going in, it's like it ended, and it's going into a new sign, a new spiral of those 12 signs, that's strong. But we don't really speak about retrogrades or even the signs in human design and gene keys. But I think that we're all one organism as humanity. So it is good to look at us as that organism and what's helping us, you know, and also like what's the challenge. And then when we know the challenge, it's not that we have to brace, but it's like we can be aware of it and then we can move through it.
Okay, well, yes, and that's what the title was, like, what are you saying yes to? So I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your weekend, and please do take advantage of our Black Friday offer if it does feel like a yes to you. If you were in the inner circle, got out, it's really good now. If you join for a year, it's $397. That puts it at like $33 a month, paid all at once. And what you get is $1,000 worth of the foundation courses, like we said, the inner circle, the vault, and you can get started with us right now. And we even have people that are in the inner circle that are canceling their membership so that they can take advantage of this, and they're just paying a year. So we're having a lot of people who are already like committing to be with us for the next year. And a lot can happen in a year. So let's walk this together, like hand in hand. And let's unravel together, and let's evolve together, and let's put ourselves back together. Yeah.
And whatever alarm goes off for you, don't freak out. Just feel into what it really is, if it's a real alarm or not.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. So glad speaking to you tonight. Goodbye.
Bye.